The 1,000-yard plateau is one that any skill position player in the NFL wants to surpass during the regular season. Some players like Antonio Brown and Julio Jones have done it consistently and we're accustomed to seeing their names near the top of the list. But some names like the ones we'll be talking about in this video are players you may have forgot even had a season of over 1,000 yards. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video, leave a like, it always helps out, and let's get into it. The first name we have is Dwayne Beau, a guy who may be best remembered for the common fantasy football name over Dwayne Beau. Anyway, Beau had an incredible 2010 season, putting up 1,162 receiving yards and a league-leading 15 touchdowns. He actually had 3 separate seasons of over 1,000 yards, but for some reason his career took a nosedive at the age of 29, and he couldn't even reach 700 yards in 15 games. He apparently had trouble staying in shape, but by the time he took his body seriously, it was too late. He had a 5-catch season in 2015 with the Browns, and that was the last we saw of Dwayne Beau. The next name on our list had an 11-year NFL career, and while he was a decent player, he only had 1 season of above 1,000 yards. In 2011, his age 28 season, Nate Washington put up 1,023 yards as a member of the Tennessee Titans. Maybe Washington's not the most random name on this list because of the longevity with the Steelers and Titans, but he had enough of a connection with veteran quarterback Matt Hasselbeck to get himself over 1,000 yards for that 1 season. The next guy on this list is probably more well known for being the receivers coach at Ohio State University with some of the talent they've been producing the past few years, but he was a very solid player, and that is Brian Hartline. In 2012, Hartline had 1,083 yards with the Miami Dolphins, catching passes from Ryan Tannehill. With Brandon Marshall traded that same offseason, the Dolphins needed somebody to step up as their wide receiver 1, and Hartline took it upon himself to be that guy. The most surprising thing about Hartline's 2012 season is that he only caught 1 touchdown on 131 targets, which is tough to do, honestly. Hartline followed up his 2012 season with another season of slightly over 1,000 yards in 2013 for Miami. Lance Moore was known for his awesome touchdown dances and being one of the many lucky recipients of Drew Brees' passes, but he actually did manage to have 1,000 yards during the 2012 season. Moore had an impressive 16 yards per catch and finished with 1,041 yards and 6 touchdowns during that season. Unfortunately, that would be the last we'd see Moore have a season like that. He failed to reach even 1,000 yards the next 3 seasons combined with the Saints, Steelers, and Lions. Harry Douglas was your prototypical wide receiver 3. Not a great receiver, but not a bad one either. When Julio Jones missed 11 games in 2013, it was Harry Douglas who saw himself lead the Falcons in targets with 132. He somehow got more looks than Tony Gonzalez and Roddy White, but it did turn out to be effective. Douglas turned in a season of 85 catches, 1,067 yards during that 2013 season. And fun fact, Harry Douglas' brother Tony Douglas played in the NBA for 10 seasons. As for Harry Douglas, he went to the Titans on a 3-year deal during his early 30s, but he never saw near the production that he did back in 2013. You probably remember Allen Hearns more for his gruesome ankle injury during the 2018 playoffs when he was a member of the Cowboys, but he actually had a decent start to his career with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Blake Bortles throwing him the ball. In 2015, Allen Hearns put together a season of 64 catches, 1,031 yards, and 10 touchdowns. For an undrafted player, he still had a successful NFL career. Unfortunately, he's still just 30 years old and has not played in the NFL since the 2019 season for the Dolphins. And come to think of it, I remember a play during that 2019 season where Mr. 9 mistakes ahead of him himself, Josh Rosen, got Allen Hearns obliterated on a hit by Dallas Cowboys safety Jeff Heath. Considering he suffered 2 very serious injuries at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, I'm sure he's not a fan of that place. Now this one caught me by surprise, not just because this guy's a tight end, but because I completely forgot about this guy. Cleveland Browns tight end Gary Barnage has to be the most unlikely receiver to reach 1,000 yards in recent memory. In his first 6 seasons combined, Barnage only had 603 yards, yes, a little over 100 yards per season. Somehow Barnage went from only seeing 25 targets in 2014 to a whopping 125 targets in 2015. Barnage put up 1,043 yards and 9 touchdowns while catching passes from Josh McCown, Johnny Manziel, and Austin Davis. He'd only play for 1 more season after that and never played again after going 1-15 with the Browns in the 2016 season. Terrell Pryor is always going to be an interesting story, from quarterback at Ohio State to quarterback in the NFL with the Raiders to turning into a pretty good NFL wide receiver. This guy has been through it all. During the 2016 season, Pryor stole the spotlight from the previously mentioned Gary Barnage and made his run at the most random player to reach 1,000 yards in recent memory. Pryor, of course, was a tremendous athlete, and during that 2016 season put up 77 catches, 1,007 yards, and 4 touchdowns with the Browns, catching passes from Cody Kessler, Josh McCown, and Robert Griffin III. Pryor would then go on to sign an $8 million deal with Washington the next season and only put up 240 yards and 1 touchdown touchdown in a disappointing 2017 season. That was pretty much the last we heard of Terrell Pryor in the NFL as he faded out with the Jets and Bills in 2018, but to go from a guy who started 10 games at quarterback to a 1,000-yard wide receiver was quite the turnaround for his career. That's going to do it for this video. If you guys like this idea, then let me know in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time.